Hello, I'm Chris Jansing, and right now you've been listening to family and friends of 4 University of Idaho students who were murdered by Bryan Kohberger, now face to face with the killer. First time they've been able to let him know directly in their victim impact statements how his actions on that single night have irreparably changed their lives. They're before this judge in Idaho who is expected to sentence Kohberger to life in prison as part of a controversial plea deal that spared him the death penalty. The family's task today, putting the pain of this moment, putting their unimaginable loss into words. We have heard a lot of anger. We have heard a lot of direct talking to him. Kaylee Goncalves' sister, Olivia, looking directly at the man who murdered her sister, defiant, while he sat there emotionless. And Dylan Mortensen, the roommate who survived and who is forever haunted by that night, said this.
He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home. The people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Well, the big question now, and it's written in big, bold letters in the local newspaper, will Kohberger speak and give the families the answer they say they want most? Why did he kill their kids? Joining me now, NBC's Camila Bernal, who has been following all of this for us. The criminal defense attorney, Danny Cevallos, is with me, along with former assistant district attorney for the Manhattan DA's office, Catherine Christian. Both Danny and Catherine are MSNBC legal analysts. I want to start with that big headline, Danny, if I can, which is whether or not he will speak. Very powerfully, Kaylee Goncalves' sister laid out the questions that she wants him to answer, including what were her sister's last words. She wants to know that. Yes. She said, if you're so powerful, why are you still hiding? So here's my question, Danny. This is a decision he gets to make, correct? Whether or not he makes a statement. And what is the conversation that a defense attorney would have with him about that?
Kohberger, like all criminal defendants, has an absolute right of what's called allocution, to speak at his sentencing. But as a criminal defense attorney, more often than not, depending on the facts of the case, though, of course, but most likely and more often than not, you tell your client you should not speak. And this is one of those situations. I have to believe his attorneys, his very able counsel, have taken him aside and said, you really should not speak at this hearing. But this is one of those decisions that the client can always override the attorneys, and he may do so. If I were betting, I would say, number one, he's been advised he shouldn't say anything, and number two, that he won't. He will choose not to speak. But when you listen to what the Goncalves family did, I mean, they just skewered him, and they hit him where it hurts, his ego. So it could be a game-time decision. You might see Kohberger actually speak to respond to some of these just absolute missiles that the Goncalves family hit him with. Your average, your basic, your dumb as they come, really cathartic, powerful stuff. So I'm still betting you will not hear from Kohberger, but they might have just goaded him into thinking about it.
Catherine, these statements were just so emotional. I mean, the mother saying she hopes the sound of the prison door closing stays in his head and hell will be waiting. But I was really struck by Olivia, her big sister's statement when she called him a sociopath, a psychopath, a murderer, delusional, pathetic, a hypochondriac. You are, my sister, she says, everything that you will never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. And she said the irony is that they would have been kind to you had you gone to them. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. What do you make of what you have heard and the importance of victim impact statements, which I know you've heard many of, but these are some of the most powerful for sure.
And I've sat through many of them, but the purpose is for the loved ones and the survivors, because there were 2 survivors in this case, to not just stick it to the defendant, this horrible person, but to let the world know, what their loved ones were like, and to express the sorrow and rage. And everyone so far has been very poised. Even the mom in her rage was very poised. Just to bring, you can't bring them back to life, but to let the world know this is what my daughter, this is what my sister was like, and this is what this horrible person took away from my life. So it's a way to, I think one of them said, I'm here to show up and fight for them. That's the way. That's basically what the victim impact statement is, for the loved ones to show up and fight for their loved ones who no longer have a voice because they're gone, for the survivor to show up and fight and said, you did this to me, but I'm here and I'm confronting you. I'm still alive and you're going away for the rest of your life.
And you will not be remembered, as it was said by several of the people looking directly at him. Again, our folks who are in the courtroom say he was looking back, but he was absolutely emotionless, even as the mother of Kaylee Goncalves was about as direct as someone could possibly be in that situation. Camila, I understand they've gone into a 10-minute break. What more can you tell us about what's going on inside that courtroom?
Yeah, they're on a break now, but what's interesting is how differently every family and every victim has approached this, because we started out with the roommates, and the roommates were very descriptive in terms of how this has impacted them, the panic attacks, the fear that they have, both of them essentially saying that they sleep with their parents at night or had been sleeping with their parents at night, locking their doors with double locks, just the sheer panic and fear of going outside, of speaking to people, and of what that has caused in their lives and how they want to move forward and how they want to shine a light on their roommates and their friends. Then you had Maddie Mogen's family, and they chose to also really honor and remember Maddie and go through some of the impact that they've had as well, and just some of the heartbreak and the way their lives have changed. The Goncalves' family, a totally different approach, because they are the ones directly speaking to Bryan Kohberger and directly asking him why he did this. You mentioned some of the things that they said to him, how he was a loser, how pathetic, how he's a wannabe, just basic. And so they're really wanting to speak to him directly. The other families were not doing so the way that the Goncalves' family has been doing this. And the Goncalves' family was the one against this plea deal. They wanted the death sentence on the table. They wanted answers, and they were very upset about the possibility of not getting those answers. So you see every family approaching this very differently, but all of them extremely emotional. The entire courtroom has been very emotional, including Bryan Kohberger's mother. It's just impossible almost to hold back some tears as you hear these family members and friends speaking about them, the victims, and speaking about the impact that this has had on their lives as well, Chris.
And it's not just the Goncalves family, I should say, Catherine. The family of Xana Kernodle also wanted a trial to get answers about what happened to their daughter. Take a listen.
I just felt like it was just too easy for him to just admit that he did it and not have to give an explanation or answer our questions. You feel kind of cheated.
So knowing how the families feel about a need to know why, which is completely understandable, Could a prosecutor have made a statement part of this plea deal? Is that never done?
All you have to do as a defendant when you're pleading guilty is not say why you did it, just that you did it. And that's it. And the reason why prosecutors in this case and in any case will get a plea deal, it's certainty. You think you're going into a case and you have a rock solid case, but the jury might say, actually, you don't, prosecution, and acquit or have a hung jury. In this case, he also waived his right to appeal. So he will be serving a life sentence and he can't appeal it. So the legal consequences will end. And a trial does not, they always say to search for the truth. As Danny will tell you, it's really not. You may never know why a defendant did what he did. It could just be as horrible as he wanted to commit a murder and these people were home. So we may never get the why, just that we know that he did it.